Good evening. It's Wednesday, July 28th. It's very hot here in Lawrence, Kansas today. I want to talk about a word that popped in my head yesterday. I forget in what context. That I sort of miss. And I'm sort of wondering what happened to it. And that's the word classy. Like I said, I don't recall why it popped into my head. Um, it may have been in one of the Facebook or Instagram things about um, Hollywood actors of the 50s, 60s, 40s, so forth. Looking classy. It might have been a Cary Grant, something like that. And I wonder why it went away. I mean, I remember there was a sarcastic period where people were going, "Stay classy," I like, yeah. And of course, now we're in the middle of this class war and class consciousness. And the thing is, in its old usage, classy didn't necessarily mean high priced. There were plenty of, you know, middle class or even poor people who were quite classy. Um, I have a friend, departed now, but she went to a particular church here in Lawrence because the ladies there wore the best hats. And it wasn't because it was a rich church or there were rich ladies. It's that they dressed for Sunday, and the hats were part of it. The singing was better at that church too. So my friend, who was here to be a graduate student up at KU, and wasn't particularly religious, and certainly wasn't of that religion, would go for the fashion show and the great singing and the classy people. And I think about that with my art. Is I sort of like the idea that people should think of my art as classy. My mugs, that's a classy mug, or that's, I don't know, it's just a mug. But my daughter and I have a sideline that's more or less not classy. We came up with a sideline, Wisdom and Snark, makers of coffee cups. And this is specifically an experiment for making pots for the science fiction convention crowd, where art that doesn't include ceramics, or if it does, it's figurines of dragons or things like that. And so we've got coffee cups that have either sayings that are riffs off of movies or direct quotes from movies. I mean, one of them that's reality damages my calm. But we also have things that are just snarky, like please don't let your absence be brief. We're not trying to be classy in that. I mean, we're trying to have fun and poke at things and remind people of things. So like one of the popular ones was "And five is right out," and I had a fun time selling a fourth responder cup to a woman who happened to be a neurosurgeon and really wasn't going to be no help at all in an emergency room setting. But later on she could be helpful. So classy. I don't think it has to be about elitism. And it doesn't have to be about wealth. It can be about style. And it's certainly about behavior. And we could do with more classy role models. We could do quite well with more classy role models. Anyway, have a good evening.